Hi everyone, this is Gaj Varma from Ember Software. I hope you're having a great day. In this video, I'm going to talk about 7 critical steps that you must do before you engage an app developer. The concepts that we talk about in this video apply to startups as well as apps that support existing businesses. But first, what I want to do is to expose a dirty little secret that app developers don't want you to know about. Knowing this dirty little secret can help improve the return on your investment for your app strategy. Now, I just want to reinforce that the app market is massive and it's growing at a phenomenal rate. We can see that in 2018, the app market was worth over $100 billion. That's a 75% increase since 2016. That is amazing. It's forecasted to grow to $156 billion by 2022. That's 3 times the size of the global box office revenue. That's an incredible amount of growth. However, the dirty little secret is that 99% of apps don't make a dime. They don't make any money at all. How can this be? Well, one of the key reasons why most apps don't make any money is because there's an insane amount of competition in the app stores. If we look at Google Play, there's over 3 million apps in Google Play. There's over 3,000 new apps that are released every day. Now, if we look at the Apple App Store, we know that there's 1.8 million apps in the Apple App Store, and there's over 900 new apps that are getting released every day. That's an insane amount of competition that new apps have to deal with. Now that we know the real story, I just want to emphasize that this is still an amazing opportunity. However, an app is not a silver bullet, just like a website is not a silver bullet, or a social media page is not a silver bullet. What we have to do is we have to adapt our approach so we can maximize the return on investment. In this video, we're going to outline 7 critical steps you should take before engaging an app developer. The first step is we need to gain a deep understanding of your market. How big is the problem that you're trying to solve with your app? Is the problem big enough where they'll give you money to solve the problem, or they'll give you repeat business because you're solving the problem with your app? How are the consumers currently solving the problem? Are they solving it with manual means, or are they using other solutions that are suboptimal? We need to understand how big is the market. Also, what is the level of competition in that market? We need to understand the threat of new entrants, the threat of substitutes, the bargaining power of buyers and suppliers. These are all indicators that gives us an understanding of the level of competition in that market. The second step is to identify the points of difference for your app. We need to understand why your consumers would choose your app rather than the other solutions that are available to them. We need to validate that the market values your point of difference. The critical thing to do now is to pick a small subset of the features. What I recommend all businesses use is the lean startup methodology from Eric Ries. We need to state up front, what is the hypothesis that needs to be validated? What is the main problem that you'll solve? Then we'll develop a minimum viable product around this hypothesis. The MVP app should only deliver a small subset of features to prove the hypothesis. That's all it should be doing. After we've proven the hypothesis, we can get feedback from our customers, learn from it, and then iterate over it so we can develop more features based on real-world feedback from your customers. The third step is to define your monetization strategy. How will your app make money? This is a critical question. Apps can generate revenue by the initial install, so when a customer initially installs your app, in-app purchases, so the purchases that they make within the app. 79% of games app make revenue this way, and 50% of non-gaming apps make revenue this way as well. Advertising is a very strong revenue channel for a lot of apps. This is where advertisements are displayed while your consumers are using the app. The subscription model has also been very successful for a lot of companies such as Netflix, Spotify, and a number of other companies. The subscription model is getting very, very popular. Mobile commerce is apps such as Amazon, where consumers will make purchases of goods or services from within your app. Another way of making money from your app is to sell data. It's really important that you get authorization from users before you sell that data, but there's a number of platforms out there that make it very easy for you to sell data from within your app. But as I mentioned earlier, it's critical that you get authorization from users before you sell their data. An extremely important point to note is that apps don't directly have to make money through the app stores. If you've got an existing business, digital engagement is an extremely powerful way to increase your revenue. The way this is done is that free apps make it so easy for your customers to engage with your business in that they wouldn't bother looking anywhere else. There's just no point. The lifetime value of your customers significantly increases. A great example of this is the Starbucks app. Now that's created such a strong point of difference. There's some amazing features in this app that improves the customer loyalty. They can prepay and skip the queue by paying for their coffee just via the app. We know that users of this app spend 2 to 3 times more than customers that don't use an app. The loyalty program in the US accounted for 40% of the revenue of Starbucks, which is an incredible opportunity and an incredible result for that app. Another example of digital engagement is Dominos. Now, Dominos has created such a strong point of difference through their app. They've often been described as a tech company that sells pizza. You can create a custom pizza and track it all the way to your front door, which is absolutely amazing. We know that 1 in 8 of the UK population had downloaded the app, and online orders in the UK represented 70% of revenue, and half of that came through their app. That's an amazing result from an app that has significantly increased the digital engagement with the Domino's brand. The fourth step is to define your marketing strategy. How will you promote your app? If you're an existing business, then obviously you can promote it to your existing customers. But if you're a startup, how are you actually going to promote your app? You could do that via social media. There's App Store search optimization. There's also in-app advertising. There's a number of ways that you can promote your app. If you're a startup, you need to evaluate the cost of customer acquisition. Now, this is a key value driver in your business model. Some of the ways that you can validate it without even developing any app is to run some advertisements before you even start developing an app. You can run some Facebook ads or some Instagram ads or some YouTube ads. If you can pre-sell or get some interest in your app before it's even developed, that is a strong indication of demand. What we need to do is we need to validate the cost per customer acquisition, and that's a key input into your financial model. Now, the fifth step is to draft a financial forecast. And it just has to be a simple financial forecast. You don't have to be an accountant to develop a complex P&L. We just want something simple. We want to understand the key value drivers for the business. And I've mentioned previously that cost of customer acquisition is one value driver. Customer lifetime value is another. And there's a number of others that are dependent on the business model that you're pursuing. We need to get a good estimate on the return on investment. Now, it's important to note that the first iteration of your financial forecast will always be incorrect. So you don't have to spend days and days and days developing this. Just get something simple on the table. And then as you learn more and more about your business model and your customers, you can refine your assumptions. And then at least you've got something to start with. It's super critical to have a financial forecast for your business. The sixth step is to agree the scope of the app. We want to state up front, what is it we're trying to prove with the app? What's our hypothesis that we're trying to prove? The minimum viable product is only designed to validate this hypothesis. It should do nothing more and nothing less. We need to manage the scope very closely, and it's very hard to do because we can all get emotionally connected with an app. We can see that the app might be a reflection of our own sort of sense of quality and our own sense of purpose. But what we have to remember is this is an experiment and we're trying to validate our hypothesis. That's all we're trying to do. It's really hard when you engage an app developer up front that is not very commercial. We need to understand that their motivation is to increase the scope of the app because the more functionality they develop, the more that they get paid. Their motivation is aligned to increasing the scope so they get more work, where your motivation is to maximize your return on investment. So it's super important to know that this is the case up front so you can manage the scope, and when you go to engage with an app developer, you can say, well, look, this is what we're trying to improve, and this is the only functionality that we want to develop in this app. Despite what they say to you, you stick to your guns and you only develop that functionality that you've agreed up front. The seventh step is to actually get help. We know it can be very difficult to perform all of these steps by yourself. You may not have the expertise internally within your business, so it's really important that you engage a consultant that can help you. It's important that you engage a consultant that understands the business as well as the technology that'll help you develop your app strategy. Now, most app developers are great technically, but they don't have the business skills required to develop an effective app strategy that'll deliver a return on investment for your business. If you engage with us, we've got some amazing app strategy specialists. In addition to the years of experience that they have, they'll have the qualifications as well. All of our app strategy specialists have an undergraduate in IT and a postgraduate. They all have MBAs, so they're able to bridge the gap between business and technology very, very effectively. Now, just to wrap up this video, we covered 7 steps that you should absolutely take before you engage an app developer. We got a good understanding that the motivation of app developers may not be aligned with the motivation of your business. Also, it's very difficult to perform all of these steps yourself. That's why it's important you engage a consultant that knows the business behind app development as well as the technical side behind app development. We've got some great app strategy specialists that would love to help you. We look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you very much for your time and have a great day.